Hi, and welcome to MC4C TV. I'm Judith, the Youth Enterprise Champion, and I'm with James Danville of Room 73. Thanks for joining us, James. How have you been keeping during the pandemic?
Just keeping busy, just still going to the studio and stuff. Like, I couldn't record at one point though, because obviously when the virus was like at its peak, our landlord like closed the studio, well, the building where my studio is, and he was like, he didn't really want anyone in there. So like for a while, I was just like making music at home and stuff.
As long as you were staying safe, that's what matters. But you've mentioned the studio. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so basically, I've got a recording studio. I'm in a collective called Lockdown, and there's like another two members. It's like hip hop, grime, garage music. And we've got a studio space in the town centre, 8 Poston Gate, if anyone wants to come down. And basically, literally just it's recording services, mixing, mastering, music production, all like tied into one basically.
That sounds great. I mean, you mentioned the lockdown. I was going through your social media pages and I noticed you guys were named Lockdown way before that word became, part of our grammar, the rest of us. What was the inspiration behind that?
So it started with our member called Chedu, who raps. He started this collective like with a few of his mates, like I think it was about 15 years ago maybe. He's had the like when they was younger, and there was just like they used to record in a friend's house and stuff, and then obviously the only one out of them lot was Chedu, who carried on rapping. So he carried on just rapping on his own for ages, but he still like carried the Lockdown name. And then when I met him and started producing for him, he was like, "Oh, do you want to be in Lockdown?" So then we carried the name, and then we met a guy called Joe the Third, and he just loved music. He wanted to be involved in us. He was like, "What can I do?" I was like, "The easiest thing you could start in music, rather than like producing or rapping, would be to DJ." Do you know what I mean? So like we got him a pair of decks, and we made him a DJ, and yeah, and we've just been locked down since then. And it annoys me a bit now, to be honest, with all the lockdown stuff, because yeah, some people like we've got merch and everything what we wear, and then I've been in shops like not lately, I'd say like last year when the pandemic was like hitting, and people would go to us like, "Oh, Lockdown, look at this, he's got Lockdown on his top," and I was thinking, it's my language, sorry. I was thinking, it's just literally our group. And I just have to explain to everyone. It got a bit annoying.
No, it's a great. I love that story, but also I'm intrigued about your business name, Room 73. What's the story behind that?
So basically, Room 73 is because we had the recording setup used to be in my house on Newland Avenue, and it was 73 Alexander Road. So I used to just call it Room 73 when everyone came and recorded, and my bedroom was like the little hub where people come record and I'd produce from.
Oh, nice. That's good. I like that. It's a bit sentiment. There's a bit of sentiment behind that.
Yeah.
You are a bit of a local star, I would say. How did you get into music production or music in general?
I've loved music since I was a little kid, especially like rap music. I just got it like when I was real young, from about I'd say 10, and like people around my end where I used to live, there's like older kids and stuff that used to play rap music. And do you remember years ago when people like do copied CDs, like compilations, and I'd get people to put like all the latest rap music on them, and I used to just play them, and I've just loved it since a kid, never grown out of it, always loved it, and I loved it that much I just wanted to start producing. So like I started with decks at first, like turntables, and I collect vinyl, so I've got like load of records. But like the DJing wasn't enough for me. Like I wanted to actually make the music. Do you know what I mean? So like I literally just got some software, a version of Fruity Loops at the time it was called, and just started producing, and then just carried on doing it. and writing lyrics. And
yeah, I'm sure you're an expert in your field right now. Like, since you said you started when you was, very young, and that passion is there. So you can see that through your work as well. But of course, the music industry was severely affected by the pandemic. So have you started performing again? How has it been like going back to what we used to know as normal?
so yeah, like in the pandemic, like literally before the pandemic, sorry, we was doing events, like our own event, which would be like a Gram night and like UK garage night. And we put these events on every few months, and so was earning money from that. Was doing shows, was earning money from that, and basically when the pandemic hit, we just lost doing all that. So then I started like struggling a bit, and it was I was finding it quite frustrating, if anything, because obviously I love promoting events and I love performing, and I was just getting really annoyed with it at the time. But it started picking up again, like so we performed in Brixton the other month in London, and we're performing Newcastle in November. So like it's slowly picking up again.
It's great that you're becoming busy again. I'm sure now that things have calmed down in terms of the COVID-19, like you've just mentioned a couple of shows that you've done recently and you're planning to do. How has the turnout been like with people? Are they coming? Is the vibe still the same as before?
Yeah, I think it's still the same, to be fair, how it was. Like, oh yeah, we did like Humber Street session. We headlined that a couple of weeks back, and that was just as busy as ever, really, even though it was in a different location. Like it had very little planning. Like I think they planned it like a month before it, last minute, because they had to move it to Queen's Gardens, and that was still busy. So like, I think it's all right. I think it's starting to pick up.
No, that's great. I'm glad about that. As a business, who would you say are your target audience or your customers?
The majority of my customers, I'd say, are about from the age 17 to like 30. So we're getting like, and it's usually like male, that is like a lot of young rappers, basically. That's like the majority of the people who come to my studio.
That's brilliant. The music production industry is said to be very competitive. How do you make sure you stand out?
Originality and just being yourself. I think that's like real important. Like especially like I think in like stuff like rap music and stuff. I think you should be yourself, and just be the person who you are. Like be the place you come from is like most important. Like use your own accent and stuff. Like
I like that.
Yeah.
I like how you are unique and you stick to your roots as a whole lad. You're sticking to your roots.
There's a lot of people, and they're like, sometimes when people first get into rap music, they'll come to studio and they'll just like put on a London accent and stuff. And it's just like, because they listen to that music all the time, they think that's how you've got a sound to rap, when really you don't. Like, you just talk how you talk in real life and talk about the things you do in real life. And that, to me anyways, there's some people might be like, I want to put a character on, but for me, that's important.
I like that. That's some great advice for up and coming artists. Some may say Hull is a quiet place when it comes to the music scene. Why did you choose to set up in your hometown or in Hull?
To help put the city on the map in our genre. That's like always been our aim. Like, for as long as we've started making this music, we've always wanted to put the city on the map for it. I wouldn't say there's a massive scene in our genre, but I'd say like it's starting to pick up a bit, and there's some good new young talent as well.
I'm happy, and I'm really proud of you guys trying to push, our town and let it be known that there are some great talent that can come from Hull. And of course, you are one example, you and your group of that talent. What has been some of the challenges you've faced as a business?
What, like coming from Hull?
Just in general, whether from Hull or even just as a business in Hull, what have been some of the challenges faced setting up as a business?
So I'd say like being from Hull, like rap music is a bit of a niche or niche, however you pronounce it. So I feel like sometimes like I have real busy periods, and then I might have the odd period where it dies down, for like recording people and mixing their music. But when I have the quiet periods, I'm always working on our music. So like I'm constantly busy. But if you want to like talk from a money-making point of view, like mixing and mastering services and recording people, you have like your good weeks or your good months and your bad weeks and your bad months. But I suppose that's in any like startup business, isn't it?
No, that's true. Definitely. It's not uncommon for startup. Well, I'm sure you're doing great. What about MC4C? How did they support you in your journey?
Basically, just like helped me out. Like obviously, when you're starting up these businesses, like me personally, like I never really knew about like taxes. Well, I knew about taxes, but I didn't know about certain thresholds and what I had to pay, like regarding what I make and things like that. And obviously just learned things like that. And there was real supportive. Like if I had like a question I needed answering, like I could come to someone, like it was just a text away. So I just found it real helpful, to be fair. Helped with funding as well, which I'm awful at doing myself.
I'm glad that you found some help, and then that was going to be my next question about what help you got from the John Cracknell Youth Enterprise Bank, and how did it help you? What would you use the money for your business?
So there's a bunch of things I need for the studio, really. So like I need better soundproofing, like the foam pads, what you put on the walls and stuff, and bass traps just to acoustically treat the room. I could do with like a few different microphones as well, for recording like instruments and things.
What would you say are some of the rewards of being your own boss? Because obviously you work for yourself and you're self-employed. So what have been some of the rewards of being your own boss?
It makes you want to work harder, I feel, like personally, because like I've done a lot of jobs just working at like say off licenses, and I've done a lot of jobs like that like in my life, and I've never been motivated. Like I don't wake up motivated to go to work, and then when I'm there I just end up being lazy because I'm not that interested in it. So like being my own boss, like I wake up like motivated, like I'm like, right, I need to do this today, because if I don't do it then I'm stuffed basically, and I just enjoy it. I get more out of it. I'm doing what I like.
That's the key point. You're doing what you enjoy and what you like, something that you've done for such a long time and you enjoy it, and now you just get to make money from it, really. Would you recommend MC4C to a friend?
No, definitely would.
I'm glad you've gotten the support and you could recommend MC4C. I like how you work with local young aspiring artists and help them work on their craft, but also work with local household names like you mentioned, Cheerdo, which you guys headlined, Humber Street Search, which is a huge in Hull. Personally, myself, I don't really listen to a lot of rap and grime per se, but I have listened to your music, and your song Wages is a bit more my sound and a bit more my vibe. So I do like that song. No, it's great. And the video is fantastic. I was like, these guys are going out there doing great things.
Can't sleep, I've been like this for weeks. Toss and turn, I feel weak. Gets beat, but I ride it out with no beeps. Anyways, I'm a different grace, better watch what you eat. I know my place, still watch my face, cause I always earn my keep. I'm like a tabby cat, natural in my habitat. Who do you think you're yapping at? You're bigger than your bike, fall off your bike when I catch you with a happy slap. You're the one I'll be laughing at, so keep on talking, chappy chap.
We're a fan of like mob movies, like mafia mobster movies. So we wanted to do something along the lines of that, but we thought we'd like make it bit funny, like by putting the guy dressed up as a clown in there and stuff. Just a bit of character when you watch it.
It was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. I like the song, I like the vibe, and I like the video. So great stuff, really good stuff. What's in store for Room 73? So what's next for your business? I know you mentioned a couple of shows coming up in the future. What else is coming up for your business?
For the business, just obviously getting more people in there and working with more young talent, you know, like I like to work with people who've just started rapping, you know, like I found that like inspiring and quite fun as well, to be fair, especially if you find someone and they've not made a track before and you hear them record it and it comes out like class. It's quite impressive, and it just makes you want to work with more people. Sorry.
That's good. I'm really happy how you're helping young people. You know, I'm quite passionate about, you know, supporting young people, and whether it's in setting up business or what you are doing in becoming, you know, when they're working on their craft as artists, you know, and making them better. Really, I'm really inspired by what you are doing, and I'm sure a lot of other young people are inspired by your work to pursue their dream, because it's something that you've done for such a long time and you've kept at it. You're working hard, you know, and so yeah, a lot of young people will be definitely inspired by your story. It's been really lovely talking to you today, and I wish you all the best and success for your business and your music. You know, thanks a lot, and make sure you check out James's music. He's got some really good songs out there. You're definitely going to enjoy it. But where can people listen to your music?
Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, under the name D's Kid. You can just type it in Google anyways and it'll come up.
Brilliant. I'm hoping people will be out there streaming your music. Thanks so much, James. I really appreciate everything today. If you are a young person who has a hobby or you're passionate about something you want to turn into a business, then get in touch with us today at MC4C. We can help you develop and launch your business and give you support throughout your business journey.